it. It's so good to meet you. Thank you so much for taking a minute out today. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me. It's my pleasure.
You bet. So let's begin our journey with this question. 6 years ago, this pandemic was changing everything, changing the world, changing our lives. How did you get through that era, and how has it changed the way that you do business and live today?
That's a really good question. So 6 years ago, I was a recruiter. I had my recruitment firm. I was living in Montreal and my family was in Toronto. So I moved back because I just knew where I was in Montreal would be the worst part of Canada to be during the pandemic. So it brought me closer to my family. I got to spend more. My parents have passed since. So I always think that the pandemic gave me that time with them. I know that sounds crazy. I mean, it was a terrible time, but at least I got time with them. In Canada, it was like all about being in those circles. Remember it was like you had those
Yep.
you had to pick like five friends that you could be with. And that just really, honestly, like, even though the pandemic sucked, it just really helped my core relationships with the people that I love. So it was kind of a blessing. So before the pandemic, as I said, I was recruiting, and my specialty before that was in automotive, but that industry kind of hit like it just wasn't working. So we switched to IT sales, and I had like the best sales years of my life
Wow.
working during the pandemic. So even though it sucked and all of the things, but it kind of worked out for me. So
I overwhelmingly hear people talk about things in their lives just really, I mean, not to take away from the woe of what we went through, but a lot of people's lives, they really embraced it and it changed and it was positive and it was good. I felt like
mhm.
that too. I got to the end of that and I did a lot more interviews. I have a jazz radio show, so I reached out to a lot more musicians and I just felt like there was a different vibe on the planet. Maybe the environment cleaned up a little bit. Animals felt like they belonged again. There was, all of that energy can radiate into our world too.
Yeah, it's so true. There was a time. I remember I didn't drive, like my car had like less mileage during that time.
Uh-huh.
I was doing more steps, exercising. So yeah, I mean, do I want to do it again?
No.
No.
That's
But
that is the best response I've heard from anyone after this question. Would I ever want to do it again? No. But it had a monopoly on us. I mean, you can't just say, well, I'll get back to it. It's wasted time. There's nothing more expensive than that. So
exactly.
so let's get into your coaching. Let's get into what you do on a daily basis. I'm going to put you in front of a bunch of 13-year-olds. It's career day, and one of the kids wants to know what you do for a living. How do you make your job make sense to them?
Oh, that's a good question because I have a 13-year-old, almost 13-year-old niece that I love to death.
Yeah.
And she asks me all the time, like, what do you do? Because it's not a traditional job. It's not like I'm a teacher or a lawyer, I'm a coach. And really what I do is I help women find work that is pleasurable, that is profitable, that is fills their purpose. A lot of people are stuck on a cycle. We get really complacent with their lives, especially when you get into your 40s. It's like, been there, I'm going to just stay safe. And I really help you push outside of that. So reimagine your career from different angles, right? Like some of my clients, like they'll have same job for so many years. And I'm like, girl, you're sitting on a business. You're sitting on a consultancy. You can do fractional work and we'll kind of re-engineer everything so that they get more money, get hired faster and seen. And so I'm really passionate with helping women make more money. Like
Yeah.
in a nutshell, I help people just do what they want to do and make money doing it. So
Well, when we're
I think I
young,
started.
yeah, when we're younger, we have all these dreams of what we want to do with our lives. Is there a portion of your clientele that they haven't gone after that dream, that you're helping them get to that ultimate dream that they've had their whole lives?
Yes, a lot of people, it's funny because when you go to school and you study and we come up with these plans for our lives, right? And then we get comfortable, life changes, you have kids, you get into the same job. I mean, we're not in the best market. There's a recession looming, like all of the things that can happen. It's really easy for people to just stay comfortable and forget about those dreams, right? Like and what I do is I just push people to keep going because it's so easy to get stuck. Like everything that they want is always outside of their comfort zone. And it's like, well, how do you get there? I mean, most successful people are not out there like raw dogging life. They have coaches, they have people who help them. But a lot of times people are so stubborn. It's like, well, if it hasn't happened, it's never going to happen. Well, you don't know how to get there,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
like, like sometimes you just need a little bit more help. Like I know that I would not have had this business that I have, be able to travel the world and have the success I had if I didn't have somebody who guided me to get there. Otherwise, the fear would set in for myself, and I would just be like, all right, I'm just gonna be. I'd still be working at my old recruitment firm, right?
Yeah. So what did you want to be when you were young? When you were 12 or 13, what was your dream gig?
I want to be my mom, to be honest. My mom was an amazing person.
Yeah.
It's funny you ask this because my when I was around 12 years old, my mom, like, so we're originally from England. Like our family moved to Canada when I was 5 years old. And my mom was a nurse in England. And then when she came to Canada, she just did not like nursing at all anymore. It was like she was burnt out about it, just not the same thing. And so she decided that she wanted to get into social work. And she had a friend that came over. I'm going to date myself with age, but she came over with a typewriter and helped my mom type out a resume. And like she practiced for the interview. And eventually my mom got this job, which was a life changing. Like my mom loved her career. She was super passionate about it. And although I didn't know that that would be a job, it was just something that stuck with me. Just seeing this like transformation with her, going after her goals, getting it. She had this big position that I think the light bulb kind of got turned on then. And I was like, that's what I want to do. I want to help people. I always knew I wanted to help people. Like I could never be, no offense to anyone who does this as a career, but like I couldn't be like giving out parking tickets because that's the job that's going to make someone's life miserable. I
Uh-huh.
always knew to help people. And so I had a really great role model with my mom helping people in the community. And honestly, I just wanted to be her. So,
So you would mention having a coach that allowed you to find your true voice in your life. And in our life, there's people that see you for who you are. Who was that for you? Who saw you, saw your talent, saw who you really were that helped propel you to where you're at today?
oh, I've been blessed to have so many people that I can say that with. I had, there's one that just really jumps to my mind. Her name is Lisa Lieberman Wang, and I met her through my Tony Robbins day. She's a coach there, and I had like 3 or 4 sessions with her, and it's like she saw my soul. Like just looking at me, she could see like what was holding me back, the potential that I had, and she really tapped into it. And we did a bunch of exercises together, and it opened me up to the potential, like the things that are holding me back. Because it's so easy to get caught up on that. Like we get so many different messages that are sent to us like every day, right? Like as a Black woman, like work twice as hard for half as much. Things are going to be harder for you, all of the things. And just in our time working together, she made me open my mind to see potential as being limitless. And that the only thing that was really holding me back was myself and my fear. And trust me, I still have fear, like everyone does. Like you'd be an idiot if you didn't. You have to be fearful of
Yeah.
things, right? But it's like, how do you dance with the fear? How do you move with it, right? And how do you know that it's just fear? And so she taught me that, and I sing her praises all the time. I love that woman to death. She is like the best.
It's interesting with the work that you're doing, especially with women. It's like women get buried, especially more than men or anybody else. You get buried with all these expectations. There's this always this constant fight to get equal pay, equal respect, and then you have to take on all these different roles. It's no wonder that women get buried and they get lost in the fog and the haze of being alive. And then you come in, and that's kind of a part of you lifting that fog and saying, hey, here's the road sign ahead of you. You can't see it because all this sedimentary of living has stacked on top of you your whole life.
100%. And we're really conditioned. Like, so, my time as a recruiter, I worked in a lot of male dominated industries, like automotive. I mean, it's mostly dudes. Let's call it what it is, right?
Yeah.
Uh, and then I switched to IT. And in IT, it's a very much a bro culture. And what I saw consistently was women would always downplay their successes. It would always be like, oh, I don't want to brag, but I brought in $27 million this year and I was the number one salesman. Like, brag, who
Yeah.
are you talking about?
Yeah.
And then like some man who had like, would be like, I was the best. I brought in $2 million. This woman's saying she doesn't want to brag, and then this guy's saying he's the best at 2 million, right? And I think we've just been conditioned to be good girls. Like you have to be a good girl to be recognized when you were a child. And it doesn't translate over into the workplace. Like in the workplace, being humble, there's a part that you have to be humble. But women, that's not our issue. Our issue is not overconfidence. Like, it's so you have to be your own cheerleader and you have to be able um to stand up for yourself. And a lot of times it's completely counterintuitive. We're taught to be grateful. Be grateful that you got your foot in the door. Be grateful that you've got a seat at the table. But then when you try to express that voice, it gets shut down. And so how do you navigate that? Especially if you've never been told. Like most of us, like my mom was the first generation of women that was working. And I'm not like, right?
Right.
It's not like I had like all of these examples of, oh, well, my great grandmother was a CEO. No, she wasn't, right? She's probably a teacher or a nurse. So how do you even get those examples if you don't know, right? So
For
it's really
sure.
complex.
So let me ask you this. If you could meet one person on the planet right now, whether they're in business, they're in motivation, coaching, any realm, and you could have a lunch and talk to them, someone that might help you on your journey, who would you love to meet and talk to?
Oh my gosh, so many people came to my head. Like, I mean, who would I want? If I only have one person, like
Well,
just
you could have
one.
a round. Let's do a round table.
Okay. Okay, I have to say Beyonce because I am part of the Beehive and I
Yeah.
love her, so
Yeah.
for sure. Um, Oprah, like she raised me.
Yeah.
She's like my second mom.
Yeah.
Um, Michelle Obama for
Hmm.
sure. I would love. Oh my gosh, I would love to meet her. And who else? I can't even believe I didn't start with this. I always call Tony Robbins,
Yeah.
of course.
Yeah.
Like I got a hug from him many years ago,
Wow.
and yes, it was great. And I've attended lots of his seminars, even though sometimes I don't always agree with him, but I do love the man very much, and he helped me a lot with my development. So yeah,
Yeah. Is he is he a big dude?
he's like he hugged. There was four of us that he hugged, and his arms reached around all of us,
Wow.
and he smelled delicious. Like he smelled like money and success. And yeah, he is a giant. He's a
Yeah.
giant.
Yeah, I had a feeling he was a big human. Yeah, for sure. And then the energy and all of that. So let me ask you this. What is the energy for you every day to get up to do this work that you do? Because being a coach, you're holding, there's a level of responsibility where you're trying to shape and reshape people's lives. You have a soul you have to take care of. There's a lot that goes into it. Every day, what is that energy for you to do all of this at a high level?
I think gratitude, like I'm just really a grateful person. When I wake up, I always thank God. Like I'm always like, thank God I have another day to be on this earth. As I mentioned, like I lost both of my parents in a short period of time. And my mom, she died with a lot of dreams. Like we were talking about a lot of the things that she wanted to accomplish. She wanted to come to Costa Rica. She really wanted to focus on her health and she had big plans for her future. And unfortunately, she passed before she got to do it. And so for me, one of the last things she said to me was to live your life. And so I try to take every day like and be grateful for it because we don't know how long we have. So if I have something in my head like I wanted to move to Costa Rica and like live the Porta Vida lifestyle and I just did it. I wanted to come to Colombia and I did it. Like I want so I always have that in my mind, like just to be grateful and to do the things that you're supposed to do because you don't know. I don't know. If I get hit by a car today, like I
Yeah.
don't know, right? So just
Hmm.
to seize the day, seize the
Yeah.
day.
So
Yeah.
speaking of that idea, let's say you get into a time machine and you go back in time to the 18-year-old version of you and you walk into a room and there's a film projector. You click play and there's a 60-second highlight reel of this life you've lived, the decisions you've made. Would that young version of you believe your life turned out this way?
Yeah, and she would be proud of herself for sure. Yes.
Would you give any advice?
Stay away from boys.
There you go.
No, I would say go harder. I think just go harder and like the younger version of me needed to know everything before I jumped. And the older I get, I'm starting to realize like the you just have to make the decision to do it and then everything else comes after. So I would just be more fierce.
Yeah.
More I do it faster than I did. Like and stop sitting on ideas. Yeah.
So in that 60-second highlight reel, what are you the proudest of, the happiest about?
Um I think being an aunt is like the best job that I ever have. Like, I don't have my own kids. And I took a lot of flack for that. You know, as a woman, people think, oh, you have to be a mom. And like, I have this beautiful niece that I love so much, and she's just like me, and I don't have to pay for her college, and I can spoil her and send her back. And that's a big highlight of my life. Like, I was really blessed to have really great family and come from two, like, my original life coaches were amazing. And I have a beautiful family, extended Jamaican family that loves me to death, and I love them. Um, yeah, I would say that those are like the things that I'm most proud of. Like money and all of those things, they can come and go, but at the end of the day, especially what we've gone through in the last couple of years, I just realized like how blessed I am to have such great friends and great family, and I never take it for granted.
So let's say you walk into a room of everybody that's known you in a professional business sense in your life, and you walk to a podium and you can tell them one fun story about your life. The first concert you went to, a wonderful place you traveled to, jumping out of an airplane, some kind of seminal experience, something fun that would humanize you a little bit. What would be a fun story you would tell that room?
Oh gosh, I have so many. I would maybe tell them about surviving the grief, like going through such a hardship, losing your both of your parents in a short period of time. I was like so utterly depressed for so long, and I made a decision to move forward. Like you always live with it. It's never gonna go away. Like I'm always gonna have this. But I was really lucky to meet these wonderful people that helped me through this process and opened my eyes to possibilities and be able to see that the world is bigger than us, right? And the people that we love are always with you. And to just be able to get to see that experience that was definitely I got to do that in Costa Rica and I fell in love with the country there and it brought me to there where I spend most of my time in that side of the world. And yeah, I'm just grateful that I took that chance to. I knew that I was in pain, and I knew that if I didn't do something about it, that it would always be there. And so taking that chance and going to Costa Rica and meeting with these beautiful people who changed my life was like such a pivotal. I know I would be still getting a hard time getting out of my bed, still depressed if I didn't actually take that chance. So I'm so grateful for them.
So speaking of the pandemic, as I said, I interviewed more musicians, and my stepdaughter at the time was, I believe, 14, 15. I had an interview and I would play the interviews on my phone, and my son's on the spectrum, he would listen to it. And all these musicians were so hopeful, but there was one musician that lived in New York, was totally in the scene, and when the pandemic happened, he sold everything and moved to Costa Rica, got a surfboard, and we were interviewing him, and you could hear the surf in the background, and we heard these birds, and we were like, "What is that?" And he was like, "Ah, that's just a macaw." It was so cool, and to this day, she talks about that all the time. What about that dude, that jazz dude that was in Costa Rica? And it's like I always had this dream about there was a program the government had set up where you could go to like Costa Rica and teach art to kids and pay off your student loans, those kinds of programs. So I've always thought it would be dreamy to be out there, and just seems like it's a paradise.
It really is. It's so beautiful, and the people are so nice. And they also like, you come to Costa Rica to heal. Such a healing country. The people are so beautiful. Like I know that I will not be where I am if I didn't take that chance and go down there and really soak in the culture and learn so much. So yeah,
Yeah.
pura vida.
So let me ask you this. At the end of the day, everyone has a perception of you. Family, friends, clients, everyone that knows you, but you run the show. What's your perception of you? Who do you think you are?
Um, I think I'm a badass. I think I'm somebody who says what they mean and means what they say. Definitely a person of, I mean, I'm not a religious person, but I definitely believe in a higher power, and I have a strong connection to that. And I'm always just trying to make my parents proud of me. Like even though they're not with me, it's just I just want them to be proud of me. So I'm always walking in that light.
Yeah. So,
My mom's proud.
yeah, yeah. So if anyone wants to take the next step, they have questions, they want to hire you, any of the good business, where do they go?
Yeah, you can find me on LinkedIn. I live on LinkedIn. It's my favorite platform. Just Google me, Alison Hemmings. I do free career strategy calls, which is all about you figuring out what's holding you back and how we can accomplish your goals together. Instagram, I'm on Instagram, Coach Alison Hemmings, AlisonHemmings.com. You can
Okay.
find me everywhere.
I love it. I will put links in the show notes. What a wonderful story, Allison. Thank you so much. Best of luck with everything. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Joe. It was so great to meet you. I
Great to
really
meet you.
appreciate it.
You bet.